Welcome back to Vishal's ad Astra, and in today's episode, we reviewed the banned Baaja Bitiya campaign from Goel TMT. Now, what does it take for a steel brand to make you cry? Not a celebrity flexing on a construction site, not slow motion shots of rods bending under pressure, not a voiceover about tensile strength, just a father, a brass band, and a decision that defies every unwritten rule Indian society has normalized for generations. Goel TMT's banned Baaja Bitiya is without exaggeration one of the most emotionally courageous brand films I've seen in recent times. And I say courageous deliberately because the courage isn't just in the story, it's in the fact that a TMT bar brand chose to tell it. Let me walk you through why this film works on every level. This isn't fiction plucked from a creative brainstorm. The film draws directly from real life incidents. A father in Ranchi in 2023 and another in Uttar Pradesh in 2024 who actually showed up at their daughter's marital homes with a band party to bring them back. When a news story carried this kind of raw emotional weight, the smartest thing an agency could do is to honor it, not embellish it. And that's exactly what Wisteria Media does here. The premise is deceptively simple. An elderly father receives a phone call from his married daughter. Something is deeply wrong. Her voice is fragile, trying to hold itself together while describing a home that has turned hostile. What follows is a barrage of familiar voices. Wife, mother, son, friend, neighbor, each delivering the same verdict. Don't interfere. She's married now. She's not your responsibility anymore. Adjust, compromise. Think about the younger daughter's marriage prospects. Log kya kahenge? We've all heard these lines in our homes, in our neighborhoods, sometimes in our own heads. The film doesn't exaggerate them. It doesn't turn anyone into a caricature. It simply holds a mirror, and the reflection is uncomfortable precisely because it's so recognizable. The masterstroke to me is in the non-linear storytelling. Here's where Wisteria's craft truly shines. A lesser film would have told the story in a straight line. The phone call, the dilemma, the decision, the rescue. Predictable, neat, and far less impactful. Instead, the film opens with Gajraj Rao in a pressed kurta, leading a band through narrow lanes, kids trailing behind, brass blaring, unapologetic, dust rising, curious stares from every doorway. Everything about it screams wedding procession. Your brain immediately slots it into the most familiar cultural frame. A father proudly sending off his daughter. And then the film cuts, softly, sharply. We are pulled into fragments of his recent past. A late night phone call, a visit to the medical shop, hushed conversations where everyone around him counsels silence and acceptance. These snatches are intercut with the present day procession, and the contrast is almost unbearable. Celebration against suffering, drum beats against muffled crying, a public spectacle against a very private pain. You're watching two timelines unfold simultaneously, and for the first half, you don't quite know where they're converging. That tension, that slow building unease beneath the festive surface is what makes this film grip you by the throat. And then halfway through, there's a small, brilliant detail. He notices the signboard of SR Bandwale. That's the moment the idea crystallizes. Not a dramatic epiphany, just a man spotting a band shop and making a quiet, earth-shattering decision. There is a reason Gajraj Rao was the only choice for this film. He doesn't perform heroism, he inhabits it. Watch his eyes throughout. There's a flicker of pain when he hears his daughter's voice, a tightening of the jaw when people tell him to move on, and then a steady, unshakable resolve when he decides to act. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't deliver grand speeches. His restraint is the performance. In a 4-minute film, he makes you feel the weight of every expectation he's choosing to reject, every norm he's choosing to defy. The most powerful stretch of the film is when he reaches the in-laws' house. He doesn't barge in. He doesn't create a scene in the way they expect. He signals to his daughter, silently, gently, to come to him. She's hesitant, fearful. You can see in her eyes the conditioning of years telling her to stay, to endure, to not make it worse. But then she sees his face, the absolute certainty in it, the refusal to back down, and she runs. That moment, her running to him isn't scripted relief. It's years of suppressed hope finally finding permission. Na to ye paraya hai, na to dhan. And then comes this line that lands like a quiet earthquake. When the in-laws demand an explanation, Gajraj's character doesn't shout. He doesn't accuse. He simply says, na to ye paraya hai, na to dhan. She's neither a stranger nor a property. In a country where Paraya Dhan, someone else's wealth, is still the everyday term used for daughters, where it's woven so deep into language that most people don't even register its cruelty anymore, that single sentence dismantles an entire ideology. And it does so not with anger, but with quiet, immovable conviction. The writing here deserves special recognition. It could so easily have tipped into melodrama or a lecturing tone. Instead, it reads like a statement of fact. The sky is blue, water is wet, my daughter is not your property. That matter-of-fact delivery is what makes it land so hard. And that's where I feel this brand integration is done so right. And let's talk about what makes this a great brand film and not just a great social film. Goel TMT's tagline is "Aapke ghar ko de lambi umar," ensuring a long life for your home. The subtext writes itself, and to Wisteria's credit, they let it. At no point does the film hammer you with product shots or force a connection between steel bars and social messaging. The metaphor lives in the undertone. A home's true strength isn't in its pillars and beams, it's in the people it chooses to protect. It's in the family that refuses to let its walls become a cage. Think about it. Every TMT brand talks about strength, physical strength, structural strength, earthquake resistance. But what Goel TMT has done here is claim the most powerful version of the word, the moral and emotional strength to stand against everything society pressures you to accept. Every physical analogy for strength, bending rods, load-bearing capacity, tensile force, pales in comparison to the mental strength of a father walking into his daughter's marital home with a brass band, going against every conventional norm that tells him to stay quiet. Now that's not just smart advertising, that's finding the one story where your brand's core promise becomes indistinguishable from a human truth. Tajdar Junaid's score deserves its own mention. The band music isn't just a production choice, it's the emotional engine of the film. In one timeline, it's celebration, in another, it's defiance. The brass instruments carry the weight of both joy and rebellion, and by the time the two timelines merge, the dhol isn't background noise anymore, it's a declaration. The quieter moment between the band sequences are scored with a restraint that matches Gajraj's performance. No swelling violins tell you when to feel, just silence and suggestion, letting the visuals do the heavy lifting. Now, why does this film matter? In a landscape where most brands chase quick virality and safe humor, band Baaja Bitiya dares to sit with discomfort. It asks questions that don't have easy answers. Why do we celebrate sending daughters away with music but can't muster the same energy to welcome them back? Why is endurance in an abusive marriage still treated as a woman's duty? When did silence become synonymous with dignity? The film doesn't lecture, it doesn't point fingers, it stages a procession and lets the drums do the talking. And that's precisely why it hits so deep. It trusts you, the audience, to feel the weight of what you're watching without telling you how to feel about it. Inspired by real incidents, brought to life by a performer like Gajraj Rao, structured with intelligence by Wisteria Media, and produced with sensitivity by the Unicorn Film, this is purpose-driven advertising at its finest. Not because it's trying to win awards, but because it's trying to change a conversation. And surprisingly, it took a steel brand to remind us that the strongest thing a home can have isn't the TMT bars in its foundation. It's a father that refuses to look away. A massive, resounding thumbs up from me. This one stays with you long after the brass fades. If you haven't seen the film yet, check out the link in the description below. Do share your take on the film as well. We'll see you soon with another campaign to talk about. Thank you.